is the Jfj Conspiracy Podcast, where the shop talk is rock.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Frank.
And I'm Jerry.
And this is the JFJ Conspiracy Podcast, where the shop talk is rock. Gentlemen, how are you doing tonight?
Wonderful.
I'm doing okay.
You're doing okay? Yeah. We
had
a little discussion before we started, and why don't you give the people an update on that arm of yours, Jim?
Sure. So got my cast off last Friday, and they took some x-rays and promptly put one back on.
Put it back on?
3 more weeks in the cast. And they're ordering me up some sort of Iron Maiden for my right arm. It's like some kind of torture device to help straighten it out and get some flexibility in it. So I got that to look forward to.
Very good.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
good times. Yeah.
Better to heal it right than not heal it at all, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't want to be funny.
Wow. Yeah, I wanted to share with you guys real quick. I've been talking the last few episodes. We need to go back and revisit some bands and do some stuff with the bands that we've checked out. But I want to share a few things that I've gotten in the mail over the last couple of weeks I haven't had time to share with you. First thing is a red vinyl Night Talkers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I haven't listened to it yet. I've done the digital, download, but I got the LP in the mail. And then another record that I got that I'm yet to open. But another colored vinyl.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, American Bombshell. Now,
Beautiful.
These guys have gone through some lineup changes, I guess, since they were on our podcast. But they're still out there playing and rocking. I guess that one of the guys left, and he's been replaced with somebody else, so they can just keep on going. But that's life in the big city. It keeps on going.
Yeah. Life in a rock and roll band.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, want to share, we got a couple emails over the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to pull them up, and it's almost humorous for the first one, and it's from Greg in Corona, and he emails me, and he says, "Hey guys, great podcast, but where were you last week? Tuned in and never got a notification of the new episode." So I actually emailed him back, and I said, we had some issues going on. I said, between air conditioning units breaking down and overtime and people having to work, I said we couldn't get to it.
Yep.
Well, I get a reply that says, fans come first, Jim and Jerry. Yeah. So,
harsh.
So we're going to dedicate this.
Brutal. Que brutal.
Yes, we're going to dedicate this episode to Greg. So this one's for
Corona?
you, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, and the other one I got, and this is more of a suggestion. This is from Dennis in Rancho Cucamonga, and he says, "Great podcast, love listening. Have a suggestion. How about a Women in Rock episode?"
You're kidding.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, guys, how about we go with next week's episode? We can do one of two ways. We can all present women bands with women in them as the lead singers or leaders, or all female bands. Or we can pick established bands, Heart, Joan Jett, whatever, and bring some songs to the table to listen to and talk about that. I'll leave that up to you guys. We can discuss that, how you want to do it. But why don't
let me cut in, Frank, and
Sure.
I'm so sorry. I don't know if this is correct or not, but my classic album pick is this show.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to pick a woman rocker.
Well, that works out just
classic.
right.
Yeah. That's unreal. Yes. I know usually Jim likes all the girl bands, but
I was just going to say, this plays
swear,
into my
guys,
hand because I only like girl bands and bands with female singers.
No, I was going to, it was my classic pick today out there in Conspiracy Land is my pick, folks. And
It'll be a female, huh? All right.
Awesome.
Well,
Awesome.
What would
I
you
guess
guys?
we're saving that for the end.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. No, we're
I
not
can't
saying what
believe
it is yet.
I can't believe it.
So what do you guys want to do? Do you want to bring in some classic rock, or do you want to try to go out there and get some new music like we normally do, but just make it female bands? I think we owe the fans of our show the best quality that we can get.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for getting some unsigned bands. That's not a problem. But I also have a handful of music we could listen to from established acts that I think would be fun also. But I'm going to put it in your guys' hands. What do you think?
Can we do
One of each.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Some maybe band from the past or somebody significant in rock history.
Okay.
And then a new band.
That'll work. And I tell you what, let's not discuss whatsoever who we're going to do in the classic genre. So that way we'll just see where we're all at with that.
Mm-hmm.
Might be the same.
Okay.
We might
be the same.
Might have some repeats, but I highly doubt it. And we'll go from there.
Sounds groovy.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's set for the next episode of Women in Rock.
Unreal, though.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
And Jim.
Well, had I known the band I picked this week,
mm-hmm.
I would have saved for next time.
Well,
all right.
Speaking of that, why don't you go ahead and tell us about it? What do you have?
So this is what I have. Wait, where'd it go? Here we are. Okay, so the band I have this week is called the Coolies.
Coolies.
They're being touted as sort of a supergroup, punk rock supergroup.
Yeah.
Features Kim Shattuck of the Muffs,
mm-hmm.
Melanie Thaman, who also was on the first Muffs album, played with the Muffs in their early days. Kim and Melanie also played together in the Pandoras, which were, if you're familiar with the 60s garage rock, it was kind of part of that early 80s sound in LA.
Very good.
And Palmyra Delran, who East Coast gal.
There you go.
So solo artist, played in a band called Friggs. And so they have just released a 6-song self-titled EP called The Coolies. It's The Coolies. Yeah, which is also the first single. Available on a 10-inch with a 3D cover. Comes with 3D glasses as well.
The glasses are included.
Remember those?
The glasses are included. And so I ordered my copy. The first pressing already sold out. Second pressing is now available.
Go.
Yeah, I somehow I missed that first pressing, but no big deal. I think it's I want to say it's on green vinyl.
Ooh, sweet.
Translucent green vinyl.
Love it.
Mm-hmm. Even better.
So they have like Ramones-esque alter egos. So Kim is Kimba Cooley, Melanie is Malimba Cooley, and Palmyra is Malimba Cooley.
Malimba.
So get this, 6 songs, clocks in at 15 minutes for both sides. Both sides, right up my alley, man.
Yeah.
Say it, don't spray it.
There you go.
It's on Wicked Cool Records. And I did not know this, but Wicked Cool is owned by Little Steven.
Very good. He's got his hands in a lot of stuff.
Got his hands in a lot of things.
Yeah.
And that guy's cool. And by the way, if out there in conspiracy land, as Jerry likes to say, if you do not have the app for Underground Garage, do yourself a favor and get it and listen to that guy. He plays some amazingly great stuff.
Such obscure music.
Yeah. Obscure stuff and stuff, artists from the past who are still putting out music that won't get any airplay, in other places.
Right.
Still putting out great stuff, and it winds up
Good
on
point.
there. And so hats off to him. I was never really a Bruce Springsteen fan, but
just one album. Yeah,
but you know what?
In the USA, that's it.
Little Steven's got a way of delivery, though. When you listen to him talk, he tells a good story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he's an interesting guy to listen to,
Yes.
and he picks great stuff.
Yeah.
Picks great stuff
Agreed.
to put on. So, anyway, this song is called
All
and
right.
let's
give it a spin.
give it a spin, as they say.
All right. Uh-oh.
There you go,
shut that off because if
I like that.
we listen to much more. It's the whole song, 2 minutes and 8 seconds, and still find time for a guitar solo. I like that.
Yes.
That's some
So
good
just
stuff.
just a few other little things. So Melanie and Kim recorded all their parts out here in the West Coast.
Mhm.
Sent everything digitally back east to Palmyra, who did all her parts in the East Coast at Little Steven's studio out there.
Wow.
And one of the beautiful
sounds pretty
things,
raw.
one of the beautiful things about this is all the proceeds as a group and from the label, they've decided to donate 100% to in support of the ALS Association.
Wow. Oh, very
Beautiful.
cool.
Beautiful.
So
That's what we're supporting.
yeah, so not only do you get a great record, but you support a very important and a great cause.
Very
Wonderful.
nice.
Yep.
Uh-oh, by the Coolies. Well,
How's that spelled, Jim? How's that spelled? Because that's kind of a term, old school. It's not a good thing. How's it spelled? Coolies.
Coolies.
Okay, we're okay then.
Yep.
I've heard
Sorry.
of. I remember,
Folks. Just
I remember people talking about coldies.
No.
no.
So,
No, we're
anyways,
safe. Okay.
definite 60s vibe to
Yeah.
that. It's,
Very.
very garage, very 60s, very punk rock.
I
Nice
like
stuff.
the fact that technology they can be on opposite coasts and come up with
And
something.
make that happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Incredible, right?
And
Yes.
to make it sound cohesive,
It's so raw. It's
great.
it's wonderful. Good stuff.
yeah.
So, top that. That's what I got to say. Let's see what you guys got.
Oh, I got something that'll top that.
Oh, Jerry, go
I
ahead.
don't want
know.
to cut in, Frank. I don't want to cut in. If you're going first, you go
No,
first.
go ahead and
Shots
tell us what you
fired.
got. Yeah,
No,
shots fired.
It's all mutual. What I love about this show, folks, is that you hear about bands you've never heard of.
Yep.
And like Jim brings up the Coolies, and it's great. It's great stuff. And Frank brings up Soulskin, and they do East Coast, West Coast, and yet we as the audience we get to hear wonderful music that sounds like they all just showed up at the studio,
Yep.
plugged in, tuned up, and got to it. And that's what I love about this show. So may I, Frank?
You may.
Okay, guys. The band is called Flexx Bronco. Flexx. It says punk rock, but once Frank plays the song, this is just flat out solid rock and roll. They're out of San Francisco. We got Phil Bronco, Eric, Guy Thunderbird, and Thor Bigsby. And they've been out for a while. Their first album was Volume 1. What I love about these guys. First album was Volume 1, January of 2006.
All right.
Second album was Volume 2, July of 2010. Third album was, Volume 3, November of 2015. And the bio states, guys, it's good stuff. How these guys aren't on. The bio states, if Andrew WK was featured on a collaborative album that Steve Earle and the Super Suckers did together, it would parallel what Flexx Bronco is.
Yeah.
Now, I just listened to them for who they are, and it says here we go for their album, Volume 3, which I love it, Volume 3. All aspects of the project in the Bay Area. They're out of Frisco.
Right.
It's all Frisco. Recording and mixing at different Fur studios, mastering at Trackworks, pressing at 16 kilohertz. Formed in 2001, folks.
Well,
They've been around a while.
yep.
Yeah, and they've got it down. It says notable invites to the SXSW Festival in Austin. Still pack them in at the Bottom of the Hill and the Parkside Club in Frisco. It says live shows draw the likes of Red Fang, Valiant Thor, Danko Jones, Scott H, Riverboat Gamblers, Steel Panther. Check this out. San Francisco's favorite live punk band of 2008.
Yep.
Best live band by the San Francisco Weekly 2009. And what I love about this show, Frank and Jim, I never heard of these guys. But you go to Bandcamp, and you listen to it, and it just gives you a joy. Like like I've said in other shows, you just think, oh, there's nothing out there anymore. There's nothing, and there is. There is, folks. So go check out Flexx Bronco, XXX Bronco, and I believe the song is Blontourage.
Blontourage.
And Flexx Bronco.
Let's give it a listen. Cut that off there. That is Flexx Bronco with Blontourage.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, James?
I enjoyed it. I was intrigued when you said Super Suckers, because I like Super Suckers.
Yeah.
Great voice and a great chorus on the song. It's
ripping solos too.
I could just picture these guys in a club just kind of
tearing it up,
man. Tearing it up. So it's good. It's good. I don't know if it's Coolies good, but it's great.
Well, of course, and that was the first thing I thought when the gauntlet was thrown. I don't think it's Flexx Bronco good. But yeah, guys, San Francisco, solid West Coast following.
San Francisco punk rock, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned that Danko Jones is one of their influences. I don't know if you're familiar with their music or not. They're a Canadian trio that sound a lot like that.
Well, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, definitely pick that out of it. But
who else? Riverboat Gamblers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Steel Panther, Valiant Thor. I left out. Well, it said Scott H and Sammy Hagar. I left Sammy Hagar out.
I didn't hear that.
I didn't hear that either. That's why I wrote it down. I was like, no.
Yeah.
Nope. Are you kidding, man? That sounds just like I'll fall in love again.
I can't drive 55. Yeah. Jim's favorite song of all time.
My favorite song of all time.
Flexx Bronco. So one thing is they're actually putting a lot of time and effort into naming their albums. So we have Volume 1.
Right. Yeah, that's why you have Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. Yeah. Well, you cut out the middleman.
Gives them a lot more time to write good songs, apparently.
I think all the creative process went into writing the album.
I like that. Flexx Bronco.
But it's cool. Good punk rock album.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know if I'd call it punk per se. Like you said.
I didn't think so.
I don't get that at all.
It's hard to tell what's what anymore.
Favorite punk band of 08? I don't get punk out of that at all.
Yeah.
Maybe a smidge.
Well, you got to go back and listen to Volume 1.
Yeah,
well, there you go. Yeah.
They may have evolved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll have to check that out. We'll definitely give
Flexx
that a
Bronco.
listen and see if they, at one time, were a serious punk band.
Yeah.
Because I think they sound like a serious rock band now.
It's a great rock band. Yeah, Flexx Bronco.
Whatever you want to call it, it's good rock and roll.
Good
Yes,
music.
it is. Good music, good stuff.
But it's not what, Jim?
What's that?
It's not
the
what?
Coolies.
It's not the Coolies.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not Coolie good. Yeah.
It was two different bands.
Very different. Very different. Well,
I like the Muffs. I was a big fan of the Pandoras too. So.
Yeah. I always enjoy. A lot of the Muff stuff was just.
I was gonna say, careful,
catchy,
Frank.
Catchy stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I always liked their music. Careful, Jerry. Anyways, moving forward, I have a band called Snakefist. They're right out of L.A.
Ooh.
And basically, these guys say there's a few things like math and science and physics, and they don't believe in these things because they're too stupid to understand what those things mean. So they don't have a whole lot on their Facebook page or on their Bandcamp where I found them. But they listed these bands as influences, so this is pretty much why I picked them. We're talking Motorhead, Guns N' Roses, Thin Lizzy,
there you go,
Judas Priest, Wasp, Rose Tattoo, The Misfits, AC/DC, Slayer, and a few others. So that was enough for me to say, I'll check them out.
Absolutely.
They've played around L.A. in the Viper Room and the Rainbow and Blacklight District Lounge, also a bunch of other clubs and everything. And their EP came out in 2016, and the song I'm going to play is called Total Zero. And on vocals is Zach Stockwell. Guitars is Chris Valet. Joey Cotero on drums, and Roman Moreno on bass, because I have to butcher somebody's name.
Absolutely. The show isn't complete without it.
Yeah.
It's kind of required. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So, yeah, their song runs. I picked probably the shortest song on the EP. It's 2 minutes, 29 seconds. Mostly just to appease Jim more than anything else.
Exactly. That's right up his alley, Frank. Good.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But
we only get 1 minute of it anyway.
Exactly. Well, I put these guys more in the punk genre than Flexx Bronco. But yet they're rock. They're rock. And let's give Total Zero a listen.
Twisted touchdown. The man back up in the hill and back. I'm a hurricane running through your town. Got a six gun in my hand, shoot the fastest as I can blink. You all stood in bed. I'm not worth anything. So tell me I'm no stranger. And I don't wanna be nobody's hero. I am my greatest danger. That's me in the art of a rock of total zero. Yeah, total zero. There's a vulture in the sky watching everywhere I go. I'm 22 and I'm ready to die. Got friends with phone me down below. Left a trail of broken hearts on the road I left behind. Or if you wanna fight, I'm gonna help you blind. So trouble, I'm no stranger. I don't wanna be nobody's hero. I am my greatest danger. Mastering the art of a rock of total zero. Yeah, it's sad. Total zero. Look out.
Trying to be fair, give all the bands the same amount of time. I don't think that's punk either.
Everything's
That's
a bit
heavy.
too soon.
Yeah. Oh, of course it does, Jim. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
That was some fast rock and roll, right?
That's yeah.
And I think bands sometimes feel that, if we play the music faster, that maybe 200 beats per minute is just punk rock. I don't know. I don't know what in your mind, Jim, constitutes punk rock. Is it the lyrics about anti-establishment? Is it the attitude? I mean, where do you draw the line of what's punk rock and what's hard rock? You know what I mean?
It's a good question.
Very good question.
Yeah, I hear a little bit of everything in there.
Mm-hmm.
When it came out of the gate, I could definitely hear a Motorhead influence. Kind of had like a little Ace of Spades vibe going on in there.
Right.
Once he started singing, let me just say, hats off to you guys. I think the arrangement is just fantastic.
Yep.
Fantastic. Great songwriting. Vocalist reminds me of Phil Lewis. It was almost like LA Guns on steroids a little bit.
Very good. Good comparison.
Kudos.
Yeah, that's good stuff, Frank. That's
track.
Well,
yeah.
one
Reminds
thing
me of
that
the old days.
one thing that we got to hear with the Coolies that we didn't hear with the other two bands, and it may just be because of the time of the music, there was a bridge with the Coolies. And you don't get that. A lot of rock music, they don't even do a bridge anymore. It's verse, chorus, verse, chorus, solo, verse, chorus,
I was going to
out.
say solo, yeah.
You know, but the Coolies, they had a bridge to where the key changed and the singer changed key with the music, which is a plus. It's always a plus, you know. And then they went into the solo, and then back to a chorus. But yeah, I kind of missed that, formula of a song.
I liked it.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah.
But
I love this job.
when he was
I
saying,
don't know. Once it makes you want to throw your fist in the air and just turn it up.
that was good hard rock and roll.
Careful, Jim. Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
I won't.
You don't want to throw your fist in the air, Jim.
Not at the
Don't do
moment.
it might come off.
Against
I'm sorry,
doctor's
folks.
advice.
No.
Yeah.
Look,
No, that's
look,
not right.
17 screws. That thing is not.
I know. We know that. We know the details, folks. Frank and I know the details, folks. And
I think it's. I think it's.
God
in for
bless
the
you,
long
Jim.
run.
Oh yeah, God bless you, Jim. God bless you. My gosh.
Well, there you have it. There's our three bands for this episode. We had Snakefist, we had Flexx Bronco, and the Coolies. Check them all out. Got some good punk pop music there, and some hard rock going on, and something a little bit for everybody if you're into rock music.
All on Bandcamp, right?
Yeah, all available on Bandcamp.
Yep.
Probably iTunes while it's still around.
Yeah.
And
Bandcamp should be kicking us down some kind of stipend or something. We talk about them endlessly. I can't forget.
it'll probably be in the form of a cease and desist. So let's just not
Exactly. Jim.
careful what we ask for.
Let's keep it low. Let's keep it. Mum's the word, Jim.
Who
Mum's the word.
knows? Can't say enough good things about Bandcamp.
Oh, I
No,
agree.
love 'em.
I agree. Just
Absolutely
great
love 'em.
stuff on Bandcamp, folks. Great stuff. Indie, over here, over there. It covers it. I love
Runs
it.
the gamut.
Something for every mood is on Bandcamp. That's for sure. And what I've noticed also, they do a lot of classic albums on there. It's not just unsigned bands.
True.
While thumbing through, I found a lot of albums I forgot about, and the band, especially local bands. L.A. has a lot of L.A. Guns and the 80s glam metal that came around. They're all on there, and I don't know if other record companies have picked them up and decided to make a little money off them or what, but there's plenty of music to be had. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, guys, my pick for classic album was the $4.99 version of The Cars, their debut album.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Music Frank.
Music Plus, yeah.
I thought you were a hoarder, but not now. I love it.
That's a collector. That is a collector,
Oh, no,
not a hoarder.
$4.99.
That's the difference.
Yeah. Well, when I first started buying albums, they were $3.99. And it was. I've said this several times. Plus tax, it was $4.23. My mother would give me a $5 bill and say, "Go get your Kiss record, get Aerosmith, whatever it was."
Yes.
She'd sit out in the car while I'd run out there, take a minute, look at the booth in the front, look at the belt buckles and the pipes and all the other paraphernalia, then run, run and get my record and come back. But
I
$4.99.
remember when you
Love it.
probably remember when albums hit like $7.99 and you were like, "What the heck?" I remember you're 18 years old and you're already talking to your old man voice. I remember when these were $4.99.
Right.
Yeah.
I could buy 3 with a 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, and I think I noticed the jump in price at Tower Records because I stopped going to Music Plus because they didn't have an import section.
Right.
And so I would always go.
Yeah.
I would go to
Tower's
Tower
way
Records and
bigger.
run right to the import section.
Yeah. That was like an auditorium.
Oh, it was like Toys R Us for music fans.
Oh, you ain't kidding.
Yeah, and they sold posters and they had all the action figures and toys and all that garbage on one side, and they had their just yards and yards of albums, and they had the classical section, which I never once went into.
Section.
The book section. Excuse me, and then of course the import section.
Songbooks. Yeah, songbooks.
Yeah, you name it, they had it. So,
The only thing that compares now is Amoeba.
Yes.
Good
Yeah.
point. Good point, Jim. Yeah.
Except Amoeba, I mean, obviously Amoeba deals in new stuff as well as new stuff.
Yeah.
Huge, massive.
Excuse me, guys.
Yeah.
So the Cars, they formed in '76. One of the few successful Boston bands. We know of a couple others. You know,
Right.
but not
There's
a lot.
more than one.
Well, one of them is called that.
Exactly. And then that other band, what's their Aerosmith.
Yeah.
And really, there's 4 or
Who
5
else?
other bands.
I'm sure there is. Yeah,
There
but
is.
good point, Frank. Good
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
But you know, the Cars came out of Boston. They started playing the clubs. They were playing the clubs for '76 and '77, and they got their album deal. And that first album, you know, was gold by October '78.
Great pick, Frank.
So many good songs.
So many good songs.
139 weeks on the charts. That's pretty good for a rock band.
Yeah.
And they sold 1 million copies within the first year. So let's give the first couple songs a listen and tell me
Great
about
pick.
your memories of this album.
Let the good times roll. Let them knock you around. Let the good times roll. Let them make you a clown. Let them leave you up in the air. Let them brush you rock and roll. And let the good times roll. Let the good times roll. Let the good times roll. Let the stories be told. You got your nuclear boots and your drip dry glove. When you bite your lip, it's some reaction to love. Here she comes again when she's dancing beneath the starry sky. Yeah, I make you feel. Here she comes again when she's dancing beneath the starry sky. Here she comes again. I kinda like the way it steps. 'Cause she's my best friend's girl. She's my best friend's girl. And she used to be mine. She's so fine.
All right, there's the first couple cuts from the Cars. New
Great.
wave music. Very clean guitars,
Clean rhythm,
clean rhythm.
twangy. Elliot Easton twanging it up. I love it.
Were you a fan right away when it first came out, Jerry?
I think so. I'm trying to think exactly what was going on back then, but how lucky are we guys? You know, how many bands debuted in '78? Cars, Van Halen. I mean, and what a great throwback. You re-listen to it and you forget how.
Taste of Honey.
Oh, Jim. Just so you know, in case you missed that show, folks, Taste of Honey won Best New Artist of the Year Grammy over the Cars.
For best new rock band?
Whatever,
was?
over the Cars.
I think best new artist.
Best new artist.
Best New Artist over the Cars. Jim, why'd you do that? Now I'm all
You know,
worked
they
up. I'm all
also
thunder
call
here.
that the Kiss of Death Award because every band that wins it, they don't go on to any kind of
Oh well, thank
success
gosh.
generally. So
I've got every car.
it's
out.
a good thing the
Got 'em
Cars
all.
didn't win.
Yeah. I just forgot, Frank. What a great pick! I forgot how great it was. And,
Yeah.
and this is one of those few album guys. I believe every song on this album was on the radio at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's there's not a dud. There's no duds on this album. And
You know,
again,
it's-
I was a big Cars fan, folks. I still am. But
Yeah.
thanks for the re-listen, Frank. Thanks for
Yeah,
the.
you know what's funny, Jerry, is I was just thinking the exact same thing. I don't think there's a song on this album that did not get airplay.
Yeah.
No, There isn't.
And they released 3 singles, but I think AOR played everything.
They did.
Oh.
And I'm going to jump right in here and play the
Yeah.
third one because it's one of their big hits. And
Here we go. Yeah.
give this a listen.
I don't mind you hanging out and talking in your sleep. Doesn't matter where you've been, as long as it was deep. Yeah, you always knew to wear it well, and you look so fancy, I can tell. I don't mind you hanging out and talking in your sleep. I guess you're just what I needed. Just what I needed. I needed someone to feed. I guess you're just what I needed. Just what I needed. I needed someone to plead.
Benjamin Orr singing.
Benjamin
Yeah.
Orr.
And you know, this album, I was looking at some of the notes. This was obviously Rick Ocasek's band, and
Oh yeah.
he wrote everything except for
All mixed up.
one of those.
I thought with
In
Greg
Touch
Cox,
with Your
keyboard
World.
player.
Yeah, but he was totally in command of this band at this time, and just nailed it and hit it out of the park with every song.
Oh,
I think this was the only album.
that somebody else had a writing credit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Ben Orr wrote half the album. I think after that, I think he got co-writing credit on some stuff after that, but it was all Rick Ocasek.
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's something.
Classic album.
And then from there, I'm in Touch with Your World's coming up. We'll give that a listen. Now, this didn't get a whole lot of airplay, but it was on because I think the radio stations were just burning out of playing their music so much.
Yeah.
They said, let's explore the rest of the album, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think DJs today have that kind of latitude.
Oh no.
You know, you
It's
play
it's all
what's on
here's
the
the
list.
list.
Yeah.
Here's the list. Yep.
And that's it. That's even if you can find a radio station that plays music. But let's give these next two songs
I
a
like it,
listen.
Frank. I
It's
like
true.
that.
Yep.
Good shot.
Throw it on the floor. You can wait it on the outside, like you never did before. You get the diplomatic treatment. You get the force-fed future. Get the funk after death. Get the wise and minor brainstorm. I'm in touch with your world. So don't try to hide it. I'm in touch with your world. And nobody's gonna buy it. It's such a lovely way to go. Right here, I left the milk inside of you. Right here, your kiss is totally new. Right here, your hands are soft and creamy. Right here, your mouth is wet and dreamy. But you know it's just what I like. So deep down I like. Don't you stop, don't you stop, don't you stop, don't you stop. If it makes you feel good. Don't you stop, don't you stop, don't you stop, don't you stop. Don't you stop, don't you stop, don't you stop, don't you stop.
Now that's taking
That's
you
my
on a
favorite.
roller coaster because, like I say,
love it.
In Touch with Your World, kind of a science fiction-y kind of sound to it.
Yeah.
You know, it was again new wave music, and I wasn't really into it when the album came out.
Change of pace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
And I remember at my parents' house, they had a stereo in the living room. Jim is familiar with that room.
Yes.
And I would blast this album, you know, off the stereo. And it was a big family room, and the sound just absorbed the whole house, you know. And I let my neighbors enjoy the cars while I enjoyed them, basically.
Mighty nice of you, Frank.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That your neighbors enjoy your stereo. Wonderful.
Yep. But I didn't get into the album until I listened to it. Probably it took me 10 or 20 listens. You know, like some albums you throw on the very first time. That's it. I love it. Classic.
Yeah.
This one grew on me over time.
Yeah, it was, because at the time it came out, it was quite different.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
leery of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was leery of it because I was like, it's a new wave band. I don't know. But once I heard it, I loved it. I mean, it's great songwriting.
It is.
It really is.
I don't know if
I
you
kind
guys
of loved it as soon as I heard it.
if you can see this or not. Rudy Sarzo just liked my comment on his Instagram page. So
Hey, we're going places, folks.
Rudy's a cool guy. He's gotten back to me a few times. Ignores me when I ask him to come on the show, but he does.
Well, yeah,
You know, he's got his own podcast. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Rudy,
Yeah.
come on the show. We'd love to hear.
I once spoke to him on the phone.
Did you speak in Cuban?
In
or-
Spanish? No, I did not. We spoke English. But
English.
he was very nice and very gracious.
Yeah, he seems like he's an awesome guy.
He does. He seems legit. Just a real dude. Real dude that plays. Yeah.
Did not mean to take away from the cars, but
That's what I love about this
Too
show.
late.
too
Yeah.
late. I'll edit that out. Anyways,
Leave it in. It's all good.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Side 2 only has 4 songs on it.
But they're longer songs.
They are
Yep.
longer songs, and I'm surprised that you would give this album a listen to. But yeah,
Everything's over 3 minutes.
yeah. But You're All I've Got Tonight is a catchy tune, and let's give that a listen.
Substitution, mass confusion, clouds inside your head, involving all my energies until you visited. With your eyes of porcelain and a blue, they shock me into sense. You think you're so illustrious, you call yourself intense. It's an orangey sky. Oh, why is it some other guy? It's just a broken lullaby. Bye, love.
I was just saying, I think "Bye Bye Bye Love" is probably my favorite song off that album.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
it was on the radio all the time too, but
Mhm.
man, it was a catchy song.
Yes.
Well, the album it winds down. The last 2 songs, again, you say Jim, longer songs, and my least 2 favorite on the album. and I think it's a different tone for the rest of the album, I think.
I was going to go to the one after the one you're going to play for my least favorite, but yeah. Kind of, yeah.
Let's give these a listen.
It's so easy to fly through a window. It's so easy to move with the sound.
Well, that rounds out the Cars debut album. Like I said, All Mixed Up, probably my least favorite song on the album because
same here.
And I have to say, before I saw the band and even I saw the album, they played some of the music. Do you guys remember when Devo came out and they had the flower pots on their heads and the jumpsuits?
Sure.
Oh yeah. Freedom of Choice, or
yes.
before that, I think they came out. Yeah.
In my mind, when I heard the Cars, I thought I was going to see guys on stage in silver jumpsuits because they sounded like science fiction to me. They didn't sound like. I'm listening to Judas Priest and I'm listening to all these other bands in black leather and all this other stuff. So I'm picturing.
No, the Cars were quite different, folks. Yeah.
They get lumped in as a power pop band now,
right?
And probably based on a lot of their later stuff.
Later stuff, absolutely. Not this album, though. I wouldn't go power pop.
I think it's important to note that this album was produced by Roy Thomas Baker, also
RTB. Yeah.
And this is a guy who's got a track record. Yeah.
Oh yes, he does.
Mixed reviews on the production, though.
Yeah, but I don't know what production do you really need with that? Because it was all clean guitars for the most part.
Very clean. You can hear the rhythm throughout. You can hear the lead throughout. Yeah. Every song's, you got a little lead riff, and good ones too, folks. Not those are good riffs.
Yeah,
all throughout.
But this is a guy who produced Journey and Queen and Alice Cooper, Cheap
RTB.
Trick.
I will never forgive him for messing up the first Motley Crue album.
Yeah, well. What are you gonna do? That he tried to put some slick on it,
Yeah.
There you go.
I got to get my Vince Neil in.
Much preferred the original mix.
Yes, as do most original fans of the band.
If you hear it and you like it, then it gets redone. Excuse me.
I felt that
I was at a party and Tommy was there, and he said, "Well, he's all like, I've got some rough mixes that Roy Thomas Baker did, blah blah blah." And everybody's like, "Well, break it out, let's hear it." But like you could tell right away. I mean, the drums sounded different. It was just, I was like, "What did he do to it?"
He sterilized it.
I don't want to say
Right.
anything bad in
Yeah,
front of
right.
the guy, right? It's just
He
like,
removed the fat.
well,
Yeah, he trimmed the fat.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But if you remember, Rat had an EP out before they got signed real big.
Yes.
And a couple of those songs made it onto Out of the Cellar.
Yeah.
And it was like, they took all the grit away from it, Not that Out of the Cellar was a good album, but
I love Infestation.
the meatiness of it was gone.
Oh.
It's just the way they put it, that radio production over compression. Who knows what it is?
Oh,
but,
yeah.
It's a formula.
yeah. So, anyways, that's the Cars debut album. Classic album.
Classic.
I'm actually
my least favorite
Great
song is
pick.
not the same as you guys, though.
What's
that
your least
last
favorite,
cut.
Jim? Seriously.
No, my least favorite song is "I'm in Touch with Your World."
Okay.
It was just too quirky, too
It is a little,
little. I was like,
Bum, bum, bum.
I think lyrically it's got some good stuff going on. It was just a little too,
And I think,
like I said, a little too experimental for me.
and I think one of the first albums I've heard electronic drums,
Yeah.
some cuts. Because I remember when they first came out, I think of Fantasy by Bad Company with the electric.
The Rototoms.
And you wrote, thank you. Yeah. Well, this sounds
Rototoms
electronic.
also,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they were different by,
They were.
from everything else that was out there at the time, and I didn't really think of it as new wave because I'm thinking
I didn't either.
Thomas Dolby and other things that was little poppier sounding. I didn't think they were much of a pop band.
No, this isn't very poppy, but it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. And again, you heard them all on the radio at some point or the other. Yeah.
Great album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, Jerry, did you ever listen to any of the new Cars?
With Todd Rundgren?
Yeah.
No.
Had I guess Elliot Easton's Blessing,
Really?
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
have to check it out.
and I don't know.
I mean, Rick Ocasek, right?
Rick Ocasek's Blessing. That's right. Because he didn't want to play anymore. But I listened to a couple of the cuts on iTunes, and I love Todd Rundgren. Anyways, he
I
fit
do
right
own
in
all
with
the
that type
cars.
of music.
Even Move Like This, their latest.
Pop Master.
Yes, he is.
Mm.
So I didn't. I think you stayed with them pretty much their whole career. I listened to maybe
I did, pretty much.
whatever the album was that had Drive on it.
Heartbeat City
Third or fourth. Panorama. I don't know, but I got
Heartbeat City, yeah.
I wasn't into him after that.
It might have been Heartbeat. Yeah. It did get a little,
too repetitious to me.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? You said the first album took time to grow on you. I loved the first album.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I heard it, I got Candy O and hated it.
Isn't that funny? Now I'm the opposite.
I love Let's Go, especially.
But now, I absolutely love that album.
Yeah.
It took time to grow on me.
No,
I don't know why.
Candy O, I loved it the first listen.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had it, gave it away. I was like, here.
Oh, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, whatever.
Live and learn.
But now, I went out and bought another copy.
See,
Now I love it.
played right into their
Love that
hands.
album.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bad on me.
I know.
Well, then,
Live and learn. Live and learn. Some folks just live.
Brilliant record. 139 weeks on the charts.
yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something.
And for a reason, because it's just a really great.
So many good
Yes.
songs. Yeah.
Great pick.
All right. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I hope the listeners enjoyed
Yes.
it.
Great revisit.
Okay. Well, as we kind of alluded to earlier, Jerry, we mentioned our next episode is going to be Women in Rock.
That is weird.
Just by chance, you happen to pick a female artist for
I
the next
did.
classic album.
And that's unusual tie-in, but I picked Pat Benatar in The Heat of the Night.
All right.
Nice.
I think came out the beginning of our sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when it came out, of course, she's got great pipes. She can sing the heck out of. But I remember what caught me back then, guys, on the debut was that Neil Giraldo.
Yeah.
Because
Quite a
he's got
guitarist.
very great rock guitarist.
Yeah.
So you hear this hit and you hear it, and what caught me, guys, was the riffs, the guitar stuff. I go, oh boy, she's got a good guitar player in there, and they're still together. They're still cutting discs,
still playing.
and Yeah, so yeah, Pat Benatar in the Heat of the Night, Heartbreaker I just remember hearing the heck out of that on radio. Great solo, great band, great sound. Pat Benatar, folks. In the Heat of the Night.
1984, I think it was. Went to a Huey Lewis and the News concert at Irvine Meadows.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, Pat Benatar opened up.
Pat Benatar opened up in 84?
Yeah.
She was a headliner by
It was
then.
a dual bill. Yeah.
No, she was.
So kind of a dual
bill. I'll
headline.
accept.
Yeah, but
no way.
she opened up the show and just put on an amazing show.
Oh.
Great live performer.
Mm-hmm.
And say what you will, Jim, that particular concert was a good concert. Huey Lewis.
Those guys were all
big
good
it was?
players.
Remember how big they were, Jim? They were.
Oh yeah, the Tower of Power with him. He had, it was.
Yeah.
It was, and again, not my style of music at the time, but I'm glad I went, because it was quite a show. A lot of good music.
Players, and you say whatever you want to say about them, they still make good, catchy pop.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Again, we were oversaturated with Huey Lewis to the point of nauseum. So,
yes,
that's
I need a new drug.
Yeah, he was the '80s Nickelback. As far as people hating on him.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Had a run though. Had a run.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
For sure.
I might have greatest hits or 4 around here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Yeah.
And what's funny is I have it on my iPod. I've got a couple of his CDs. I think those exactly 4 is on there.
Yeah.
And
4.
I can't listen to it. The production, the sound of it, everything. It is so dated sounding.
It's tough
corny.
to listen to.
I'll have to re-listen then, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, MTV killed him because they played him every other song and just made him a star, made him lots of money, but oh Lord.
Yeah.
It's enough of that.
Videos had a great sense of humor to them though.
Yes, they did. And the bass player was always smoking that cigarette. Yeah. even that underwater scene where there's scuba.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a cigarette.
Get away with that now.
No, that's not happening.
No, you can't. No.
Well, guys, great pick for next week. And we're gonna bring a female led or female band to the table and a classic rock female band or artist to the table. And we'll see what that brings.
Cool.
Should be interesting.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I like it.
Good deal. Well, Jerry, do you have anything else you want to talk about before we go?
Yeah, just keep rocking, folks.
Beautiful thing.
Jfj Conspiracy Podcast. Keep rocking, folks. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm all talked out, as you can tell. So if you don't have anything else, Jim, what do you have to say?
Smash that like button.
Yes.
Subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Tell your friends about us.
That's right.
Send in those cards and letters, emails. Give us those comments on the Facebook and YouTube channel. And question before we go. Did you guys want to do an episode next week, or you want to do it in 2 weeks because we're a week off? And there goes
well,
Jerry.
you know what? Well, no, that's just whatever you guys think. but I know I have stuff on my calendar, and wifey.
Yeah, considering work right now, I'd say 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
You heard it, and Greg, don't blame me. It's these guys. Okay.
I know we're wimpy, Greg. I don't know what to tell you.
Is it our Greg we're talking about, Frank? The same
I'm not going to divulge anybody's last
Mistake.
names on this show.
Sorry, Greg. It is what it is. I got to put.
No,
food
that's
on
why I
the
didn't
table.
say it. No, that's why I didn't say it. No.
All right, guys. Well, if there's nothing else, Jim, what do you have to say?
Shop is closed.
Keep rocking, folks.